Welcome back, all you lovely people. I hope you had a nice little stretch there. So now in this video, I wanted to present some challenges that James Rachels and Stuart Rachels present for hedonism. Yeah, recall that hedonism is a pretty important part of classical utilitarianism. Yeah, if you remember, according to hedonism, well-being is nothing other than happiness, understood as pleasure and absence of pain. And of course, hedonism alone is not utilitarianism. It gains its kind of power when combined with welfarism and with consequentialism. Yeah, you know, as I just said in the last video, I can repeat it here, though. That's fine. Throw that slide up there. Again, consequentialism emphasizes that morality only focuses on the overall goodness of outcomes. Welfarism, again, says overall goodness is overall well-being, and hedonism says that overall well-being is overall happiness, and that overall happiness is itself pleasure and absence of pain. Woo, woo, woo! And we can put it all together to say morality only focuses on the overall pleasure and absence of pain. And that's, again, as I've said this many times now, that is kind of the first core tenet of classical utilitarianism, maintaining that pleasure and absence of pain, this is the ultimate good. Nothing else matters.
And nothing else matters.
Well, nothing else matters. Yeah, except to the extent, of course, that these other things, if they promote pleasure and reduce pain, then that's good. But yeah, otherwise nothing else matters.
And nothing else matters.
So Rachels and Rachels challenge this idea by pointing out, it's a short little section from them, should have been easy. They just point out two things that they think matter besides, you know, happiness or besides pleasure and absence of pain. Ooh, stuff keeps floating in this house. And so that's friendship and artistic creativity. And of course, look, these are just examples. There could very well be other things besides, you know, again, friendship or artistic creativity. I'm going to mention another one in a moment. But these things, these examples that Rachels and Rachels give, just give us a sense of things that might matter. Again, besides pleasure, besides absence of pain. And so let's first start with friendship. I mean, again, if I was in, I'm always so sad that I don't get to see you guys because I think we'd have so much fun. Even if it was a big classroom, you know, we'd have a whiteboard. You guys would shout out stuff at me and I would laugh and write it on the board. Because I often want to, at this point, want to write on the board and be like, well, what does it mean to be, you know, true friends with someone? I hope you have people you believe are your true friends, or not even just believe, they are your true friends. And, you know, and what that means and how does that separate? Because we have lots of different kinds of friends, right? We have our true friends, friends for life, but we also have, you know, friends who we just hang out with, you know, right? Because they give us pleasure, you know, we have a good time and we have fun when we're with them. You find pleasure in their company, but it seems like when we talk about our true friends, it's way more than just like pleasure from their company, or, you know, it seems to be that, you know, your true friends are the friends you trust, right? There's this core idea of trust, or maybe of mutual respect. It's not just that I, you know, respect them, they respect me, and so on. And then we trust each other. You know, the idea that we care about each other, that's so fundamental, that I care about you and you actually care about me. That seems to be what it is about the true friends. So the true friends are the ones who have your back. You got their back, they have your back. You know, they're your person, you know, the person you need in your life. Because I think, you know, yes, if you found out one day that your so-called friends, you know, were talking smack or making fun of you behind your back, that would be hurtful. And fun fact from Professor Gray's life, that actually happened to me my senior year of undergrad. I was living with people who I thought were my best friends, and as I was walking down the steps to do laundry, I remember this vividly. It's the things we remember from when we were young. Just imagine the things you'll remember. I don't know. But yeah, I was walking down the steps and I hear them start bad-mouthing me. I mean, really cruel. And I won't lie, from that moment, they were pretty much dead to me. I mean, it was kind of the end of our lease, so we were all moving out anyway, but that was kind of it. I was like, I really never really have talked to those people in any serious capacity once I moved out of that house, because they weren't my friends. I mean, something like that, you know, makes you question the whole relationship, not just like, again, burning the bridge or letting that relationship die, but you feel like a fool. You feel embarrassed. You like, yeah, of course you had pleasure and fun with them in the past, but now it's all ruined. because there was no trust. There was no mutual respect. They didn't seem to care about you as much as you thought, and as much as you cared about them. And they didn't really seem to have your back, right? That's the betrayal of it all. That's what a betrayal is. It doesn't mean that now I won't experience pleasure. It means I was having all that fun time in the past, but it was built on lies and deceit, and it's all ruined now. I can't find pleasure in the past memories because they've all been destroyed because it wasn't true friendship. And I think this can, and I, I don't know how, I hope you haven't experienced anything like that, but I think you can at least appreciate that doesn't seem to be true friendship anymore. That, yeah, just because you think everything's great, but if it's built on lies, that doesn't seem to be what we'd call true friendship. And I think this is like the theme of many movies, right? Where they think they're friends, but they're not. And I think even more so, I think we can really see this. Here, I'll add something new. I'm surprised Rachel's don't mention this, but isn't love, true love, the same way? Don't we distinguish between things like lust and true love, where lust, of course, emphasizes the physical pleasures that the relationship brings, but true love, true love, right? True love isn't vulgar like that. I mean, sure, of course, true love comes with pleasure, as it should. But true love is, again, it's about things like trust, mutual respect, caring deeply about the other person. And if anything, true love comes with enormous capacities for suffering. Huge pain. And because I hope, when I truly love my wife, as I've whined about, because haven't seen her for so long, except on the phone. But yeah, true love comes with so much suffering, anxiety, and stress when bad things happen to the person you love. I mean, so it really can be stressful and anxious. Or, that what I'm going through now, this deep, painful sadness that I have when I'm apart. I mean, it's, if I didn't love her, I wouldn't feel this way, right? It would be very different. I'd probably be much happier if I wasn't deeply in love with my wife. Her absence is every day a continual. Okay, I'm going to stop whining. It sucks, though, to say the least. So friendship, true love, these ideas, these emphasize that we do value things like the character of our relationships with others. That is not just simply about the pleasure or pain they bring. Indeed, some of these relationships might have a lot of pain, and yet we still value them despite that. So again, we care about relationships and their character in ways that don't just reduce to pleasure and pain. Rachel's, then their other example involves artistic creativity. Their example is kind of weird. I'm not going to dwell on it. If you got it, great. I'll give a slightly different example, though, because I think we can see the idea that, yes, artistic creativity, the ability to paint or write a poem or write a novel or make music, that can bring extreme joy to the artist. But I think you guys probably have some sense of this myth of the tortured artist, the artist who suffers personally, but yet uses that suffering to create amazingly beautiful works of art. I'm thinking of like artists like Sylvia Plath or Vincent van Gogh. I forget how Van Gogh's name is really. Van Gogh, I don't know. Someone else can correct me. But again, Sylvia Plath, Vincent van Gogh, great artists who suffered extremely severe depression, and both committed suicide, if I remember correctly. But they created works of great genius, and some think, the works would not have been so good had the doctor just prescribed them some antidepressants. Okay, well, that's a good debate. Would their works have suffered if they weren't depressed? But I think what we can say is that even without such extreme examples, take someone like Beethoven, who undoubtedly suffered not just from deafness. Well, that's actually a perfect example. That I don't know if you know the history of Beethoven, but the Fifth Symphony, bum, 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 bum. It was composed when he was going deaf. And the story is, he was trying to hear, despite the fact he is suffering, the worst thing a composer or a musician could go through, going deaf. But how he can harness that pain, that suffering into works of music that are truly sublime and just amazing, if you like classical music anyway. And so again, that might have us think that maybe the tortured artist is willing to suffer if it means they can produce great works of art. And it has nothing to do with pleasure. So again, I think that's just an interesting thing to think about. Are there things in your own life? This would be a great exam question, though. Since it's so early, I'll probably forget this, but I'll tell it anyway. That are there things in your life that might cause you suffering, that might not give you pleasure, but yet you would keep that in your life because it's just so valuable to who you are or your life? Then it's just not about the pleasure or the pain. It's about something that transcends all that. So that's something to think about. We're very cheery today. On that very happy idea of the suffering you go through that's worth it, totally worth it. Why don't you let's overcome that by grabbing something to munch on. Oh yes, when I get anxious, I got to eat. And so why don't we go have our snack break now? When we come back, we can talk about Robert Nozick and how he presents a challenge for classical utilitarianism. And we'll do that in a moment. I'll see you back here in a bit.